Hi, I'm Andrew B. Kraft. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Brothers Brick, and this year we're doing a World War II 1949 display. So imagine a world in which Pearl Harbor failed and the Japanese Empire was integrated into an Atlantic-Pacific alliance, and the Soviet Union, meanwhile, overran all of Europe, creating the Soviet Reich. So you've got Allied mechs on one side, with technology continuing to advance over the course of the war. And you've got German rocketry and mechanized infantry on the other side as well, including a Tesla tank turning Nazis into zombies, because a display like this is just screaming for Nazi zombies. So, World War II 1949, some really fantastic stuff. This is my stuff. I won't call it fantastic, but we have a Canadian maple syrup, radioactive maple syrup powered walking tank.
That sounds very dangerous.
That's mine. Along with this Normandy Beach here that I've recycled from previous years. We've got some great sci-fi going on up in the air above with a great plane by Dave Sterling, another blue and white plane down here by Dave Sterling over here. Some great buildings over there by Sean Edmondson. This great Walker mech over here by Chris Malloy as well. And I think Eric Wilkinson, I believe, is the one who built this great, fantastic. I'm going to try play features here because this is just frickin' fantastic. So, fully posable ball turret.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's fantastic. So I'm going to point it at some zombies over here. But these guys are fairly surprised. I'm actually not sure whether this is allied or not. But you can see we've got a Japanese allied mech over here, a fantastic mech by Matt Roundtree, I believe, with some Soviets coming in over here as well. Now, don't miss the fact that we have a few superheroes mixed in as well with this dude, Wolverine, who is Canadian, by the way, according to the mythology, Captain America and the Howling Commandos, along with the 442nd Regimental Combat Team. Superheroes in real life.
There you go.
So, moving on to slightly stranger things, we have the Tesla tank by Chris Malloy and myself, with a Soviet KV-1 hull with a Tesla turret by Chris, and a bunch of zombies getting created, which is how we're explaining the fact that they have yellow hands, because really yellow hands are kind of hard to come by. Some great mercenary mechs in the middle here, whose name escapes me, by Christian Benito. Great. That's why we have mock cards.
That's right.
And one guess as to which Lego creation a little further forward is by Guy Himber.
Oh, I can only imagine. I'm going to guess it's that right there.
Yes, precisely. So Guy Himber can bling anything, and in that case, that's a Renault FT from World War I.
Right.
So we'll give him a pass because he's Guy Himber. So I also stuck a Rogue One tank in the middle here because it actually kind of fits. Kalen Malloy built this V5 rocket because imagine, in 1949, the world would have continued advancing. We've got Werner von Braun entering his bunker here, and let me show you guys some cool stuff inside here. So we've got 1940s era computer banks, double doors for blast purposes, a viewing port for the rocket. I don't know that I would want to live in that beautiful house by Sean Edmondson over there, given that it's right next to the rocket, but it is a very beautiful house.
It is. That's I really like the way he did the kind of white and black blending of the walls and everything, that design on that building.
Yes, indeed. And it goes very well with a rocket right next to it.
It does.
So moving on, we have A Flying Wing, also by Chris Malloy, who proves that Lego can make some fairly nasty symbolism here. We do not approve or condone, but for something set in a World War II that never ended, it's historically accurate, I guess. Don't judge me. Don't judge Chris either.
I think that's asking too much from YouTube commenters.
Yeah, probably so. Bring it on. All right, so this is Kalen's farm, which is the third time we have recycled this section. Last year we talked about our Civil War display, and so this is a Civil War display that we just turned around and put some bomb craters in, along with some pigs, and a great little mech there that Chris pumped out with some spare. We had 2-gallon bags of gray, and managed to find some cool stuff that turned into a decent mech. Bonus points to anybody who can spot the one piece of Mega Block in that.
What would make you do such a thing?
It was actually kind of a cool piece. It makes now I need to go home and take a shower, but we'll be fine. And then up above, we've got a really, really fantastic glider that Chris built. Super, super hyper realistic, except that you would never jump out of a glider. That's okay. But it's a really, really fantastic glider. Now, the support is actually kind of interesting. It is a 100-year-old tractor axle from TBB co-founder Josh Whedon's farm, or as we call it, the post-apocalyptic compound. So this is how Chris supports his airplane with a 50-pound, 100-year-old tractor axle. Which then brings us to the end of the display with a really great command tent by Sean Edmondson and a bunch of destroyed mechs by Justin Pratt. He has a very fiddly mech that has fallen down, and I'm sorry you don't get to see it on YouTube, but I'm sure there will be videos and photos of it elsewhere. Any questions?
Oh, this is super impressive. One thing I noticed here along with the plane is this kind of brick-built parachute, which I think is kind of neat. I like that technique.
Yes, using Bram sphere, Lowell sphere, something like that, sort of studs out technique. Yeah, very, very cool stuff rather than, taking a piece of cloth and cutting it, but a proper brick-built parachute. I think that's fantastic.
And one thing that's always interesting with collaborations is kind of how you guys communicate before setup and everything, and as you're building on it, how did that work in figuring out who did what section and how it was all going to fit together?
Our secret is anarchy. So in our case, we kind of intentionally choose not to dictate standards or too many ideas beforehand, and we'd like to see how it comes together at the convention. Last year was very much an exception where we said, okay, we're going to use the brick plus plate standard, and we're going to have a green hill, and we recruited specific people, but typically we don't do that, and this is the result of an instance where we literally did no active recruiting of specific builders, and we did no active planning either. So it came together quite nicely for something where we intentionally chose not to do any planning.
Yeah, it did. Well, that's really impressive. I think it came together really well. Thanks for talking with me about it. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. Keep up the good work, guys. It's fantastic. It's lovely. All right, I will be back in a little bit.
I'll pour the hang of it. I'll turn it to snow.